My beloved child Archangel Michael says, the night carried a trembling hush, and the air felt as if it held a secret too powerful to remain hidden. The path before you stirred with an unseen rhythm, like destiny choosing its moment to breathe again. Something old, something unfinished, rose in the quiet and pressed against the world until it opened a doorway meant only for your soul. The silence that wrapped around your heart was not emptiness but a signal that a reunion was unfolding in ways your mind never planned. A ripple moved through the unseen places, pulling you back into the orbit of a presence you once tried to release. The energy shifted as if heaven itself leaned forward to reveal what had been growing in secret. A pulse of recognition echoed through the days, guiding your spirit toward the one who once walked beside your soul in a way that defied logic. Even the winds carried signs of return, forming gentle patterns around every step you took. Nothing around you happened by chance, because everything had been aligned with a timeless intention. My beloved child Archangel Michael says, the difference that once stood between you and them tried to pull you apart, yet the connection found ways to survive in the places where reason dissolves. The distance you created only magnified the pull that kept bringing your energy back to theirs. Something ancient inside you always knew it could never be severed. Type Amen to get blessing 333. The days that unfolded carried a strange familiarity, like walking through echoes of moments you thought you had forgotten but never truly released. The memory of them lived between heartbeats, rising in gentle traces whenever the world became still enough to listen. Your soul remembered what your mind tried to bury, and that remembrance breathed warmth into your spirit. A quiet tension formed around every sign that drifted into your life, as if heaven placed reminders in places you could not ignore. Their presence moved around you like a whisper woven into the air, steady and persistent in its intention. Even the light seemed to bend in ways that mirrored their energy. My beloved child Archangel Michael says, heaven keeps bringing the two of you back together because the bond was built in realms beyond the physical and carried agreements older than this lifetime. The force connecting you remained strong even when both of you walked away from it with heavy hearts. Something sacred protected the thread, refusing to let it break. Type Amen to get blessings 444. Your heart carried an unfinished rhythm that awakened each time their memory brushed against your spirit. It was not longing but recognition, a subtle pull that reminded you of a purpose still unfolding. The universe moved with precision, aligning moments to draw you back into a truth that could not be denied. A gentle glow surrounded your journey as if celestial hands steadied every step you took. What once felt like coincidence grew into patterns too deliberate to ignore. Each alignment carried the echo of destiny arranging itself for your arrival. Heaven's orchestration moved through your days with grace, ensuring that no matter where you turned, the connection found a way to approach you again. The energy of reunion lived in the spaces between moments, weaving its intention through everything that touched your soul. Even the quiet in your heart carried the warmth of their return. The pull between you never faded, only waited. It lingered in the soft edges of your awareness, rising when the world grew still enough to hear the whisper of divine timing. And in that whisper, something old awakened again. Their presence drifted toward you like a familiar wind guided by celestial purpose. Every time you thought it had stilled, the universe nudged your spirit back into its flow. The connection breathed with the rhythm of your soul. The thread between you glowed with subtle strength, refusing to dim even when life tried to wrap you in distractions. It never snapped, never faded, only grew more determined in its quiet persistence. Heaven guarded its continuity with tender resolve. Moments of unexpected clarity settled into your days, revealing truths your heart had held without understanding. You felt the warmth of something unseen stepping closer, rearranging your path so gently you nearly missed its touch. But the shift was real, and it echoed through your spirit. The connection between you pulsed with a destiny that refused to dissolve. It lived in the edges of your awareness, shimmering with the promise of return. Every breath carried a trace of its unwavering strength. Type Amen to get blessings. 555. My beloved child Archangel Michael says, the reunion was never about circumstance but alignment, and heaven shaped every moment to guide you into that alignment. The thread connecting you glowed with divine protection, ensuring nothing could erase what was meant to unfold. Even the challenges acted as sculptors shaping you for the moment destiny would open fully. Their soul called to you with a depth that could not be spoken aloud, echoing through the unseen until it reached your heart. It carried a tone only you could recognize, a resonance that belonged to your spirit alone. And when it touched you, something within you stirred with sacred familiarity. Heaven's timing never rushed yet never faltered. It guided each step with perfect patience, drawing the two of you through different paths that would eventually lead to the same horizon. And when you looked closely, you noticed how every turn gently shaped you for reunion. Energy shifted in subtle waves, pressing softly against your spirit until you felt the weight of the connection settling in again. It was not sudden, not dramatic, but deeply real. Your heart recognized the return long before your mind accepted it. The world around you carried signals placed with divine precision, each one arriving in moments when you needed reassurance. They appeared in ways that felt personal, tailored, intimate. And each sign whispered the same truth: the connection was never lost. Your soul grew warm as the unseen aligned your path with theirs once again. The movements of destiny settled around you with a calming certainty, lifting the veil from what had always been waiting. And in that clarity, you felt the sweetness of reunion approaching. The bond between you radiated a strength that stretched beyond the limitations that once kept you apart. It absorbed every wound, every fear, every distance, and still remained whole. Heaven preserved it with gentle vigilance. Every time you tried to forget them, the universe placed reminders in unexpected places, guiding your heart back into the rhythm it had always known. The connection lived with such persistence that even silence could not erase it. Something bigger held it steady. The energy between you shimmered like an unseen bridge built with intention older than time. It stretched through every realm, anchoring your souls with profound depth. Nothing could sever what heaven had woven. Heaven guided your thoughts when they wandered, steering them with a subtle hand toward the person your soul had not finished loving. Even when you pushed the memory away, it returned with soft determination. It carried a purpose that refused to die. Type Amen to get blessings. 666. My beloved child Archangel Michael says, this reunion is not an accident but a divine restoration guided by the light that watches over you. The bond was protected even when both of you stepped away, because the story was never meant to end where you left it. Something sacred waited for the right moment to awaken again. The connection pressed gently into your life, reminding you of the truth your heart could never unlearn. Carried a familiar warmth that matched your soul's own rhythm. And in its return, you felt the presence of something divine breathing through your path. The steps you took were guided by forces that understood your heart better than you ever could. The timing unfolded with perfection, calling you into alignment with a destiny crafted with love. Every shift in your spirit was part of a greater unfolding. Your heart softened each time the connection touched you again, even when you tried to harden yourself against it. It was a pull that carried tenderness, memory, and purpose. And in its quiet persistence, it revealed the truth that the bond lived still. The energy wrapped around your spirit like a protective current, guiding you toward your next chapter. The path before you shimmered with divine intention. And through it all, the connection continued to rise. Soft waves of recognition moved through your days with increasing clarity, reminding you of the purpose carried between your souls. Nothing about this return was random. Everything aligned with quiet perfection. Your spirit opened as the divine drew closer, filling your journey with warmth and certainty. The presence of destiny walked beside you, shaping each moment with precision. You felt the truth of it in your heartbeat. Signs continued to appear as if the universe itself whispered encouragement into your path. They came in gentle ways, never forced, always intentional. Each sign carried the same message: reunion was unfolding. The threads of fate pulled both of you with unwavering commitment, bringing your paths closer with each divine arrangement. What once felt impossible now bloomed with quiet clarity. The universe had spoken its truth through action. Type Amen to get blessings 777. My beloved child Archangel Michael says, the connection you carry is entering a new chapter guided by divine orchestration, not human effort. Heaven has aligned your souls for a reunion that will unfold with grace and certainty. Nothing can interrupt what has been sealed in divine timing. The distance you once felt has dissolved into a new awareness rising within your spirit. It carries a strength that feels both ancient and new. And in that strength, your heart remembers its purpose. The energy that surrounds you glows with the intention of restoration, healing, and alignment. Heaven moves through every moment, making space for what is meant to return. And in that space, the connection flourishes. Your soul walks forward with a quiet certainty now, knowing the reunion approaches with divine precision. The path opens in gentle waves of clarity. And the universe stands ready to guide you into what is meant. Type Amen to get blessings 888.